Jr. there, leading the way for the Indians. The lineup, Hernandez, Ramirez, and Lindor, Santana, Reyes, Naquin, Luplo, Perez, and DeShields, the starting 9 for the Cleveland Indians. Want to see that Daniel could be more efficient tonight. Quicker innings, quicker outs, as you talked about in our open and just moments ago. And the first pitch, a strike.
That's what you need. It begins with the first pitch strike, and if you can get 80% first pitch strikes, that's kind of the elite territory, and then you've got to carve them up from there.
And a big breaking ball to Cesar Hernandez, a switch hitter. Ricky, at the top of their lineup, 4 switch hitters.
And I've always liked Hernandez. When he was with the Phillies, I thought he was a tough out. I mean, there's something about his plate coverage that I like. He has occasional power. In fact, last week he became the first Cleveland Indian, and this is a club that has rich history. Folks may not know much about this club, but they have great history. They have great players. The first Indian ever to homer in back-to-back days in a leadoff role.
This is popped up to the left side. Matt Carpenter right on the line and makes the catch. Cardinals defense around the horn is presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. O'Neill, Carlson, and Fowler in the outfield. Carpenter, DeYoung, Wong, and Goldschmidt along the infield. And Yadier Molina is behind the plate.
As good as the pitching should be in this series, even more reason for the Cardinals to catch it better than they have lately.
Why do you think that's been for the Cardinals in their defense?
It is hard to explain. It's kind of an oddity to me. They were so good last year, and we talk so much about the timing for pitchers to throw strikes and the timing for hitters, but there is such a thing as defensive timing too, and it may be that.
Here's Jose Ramirez batting .240, 6 home runs, has driven in 21.
Probably not a lot of ground balls taken in the hotel room up in Milwaukee, I would imagine.
I think that's part of it. I also think with all the doubleheaders and Mike Schilt trying to get guys off their feet, it hasn't been the regular 4 out there that are so good defensively. Goldschmidt, Wong, DeYoung, Tommy Edman at third. Maybe that's a part of it too. As you mentioned, only the Dodgers have a lower team ERA than the Indians and the Cardinals. So very good pitching lined up this weekend. The 3-0. And that's taken for a strike. Cardinal pitching leads the major leagues this year, 184 opponent batting average. And the Indians are hitting just .217 this season. That's 27th in baseball. And that's ball 4, so the 1-out walk. The Hyundai pitch arsenal on Daniel Ponce de Leon.
Low to mid-90s for Daniel with his fastball, and it has a lot of hop to it. He likes to throw the fastball up in the zone more than down. He'll throw the cutter, a changeup occasionally, and then the curveball, and we saw a rolling curveball in that last at-bat. And the key, again, when you're going to throw strikes, you got to throw them with all of your pitches or they'll just eliminate them. But Daniel has actually been thinking about and talking about maybe needing to incorporate something down in the zone like a sinker to get some early outs and have some shorter innings.
So 4-time All-Star now at the plate, one of the most exciting players in the game, Francisco Lindor.
And Ramirez is going to run. He loves to run.
Then I like the matchup. Let's see what you got in one of the game's best in Yachty behind the plate. How about Molina catching both ends of the doubleheader yesterday?
I guess we shouldn't be surprised.
Not at all. You join Jim Thome, Manny Ramirez, Albert Bell, list of Indians players, 30 or more home runs in 3 straight years. And this is a shortstop, folks. That's how good this guy is. Talent from Puerto Rico. 4-time All-Star, couple of Gold Gloves, became the first Puerto Rican shortstop to win Gold Gloves in 2016.
3 years in a row, 30-plus home runs.
Not bad. Falls behind here, 2 balls and a strike. Carlos Santana is on deck. The 2-1 pitch. Took some off it. Good pitch there.
So you mentioned the Indians not swinging the bat very well this year, and that may be more of a mystery than what we said about the Cardinals fielding the ball and having their issues, because this is a team top to bottom can flat out hit, but their numbers just aren't there yet. They've had some issues too. I mean, everybody's of course had issues in the layoff. Cardinals had the extended layoff, but the Indians are not quite themselves yet. They're 7 games over 500 because of their pitching.
Indians come in 19-12. The Cardinals 11-11. And the 2-2 pitch. Instead of check on the runner at first, Jose Ramirez. And that's popped back and foul.
So how do you get 14 pitch innings instead of 21 pitch innings? You throw a sinker on that pitch and hopefully get a double play with it. But Ponce loves to pitch up, and he gets a lot of foul balls, just as we saw there. And he loves to, again, it's hard to catch up to Ponce. Teams are not hitting very well against him. 186 batting average against Ponce, yet the ERA is high because the walks are high and the pitch count is high.
And the 2-2 pitch number 15 of the inning for Daniel Ponce de Leon. And he's going to be off with his next pitch, you'd have to figure, on 3-2. Daniel's cut his hair. Remember, he had the long hair going for a while there. Not anymore. That's tight.
He did get a tighten up, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Ramirez at first. The 3-2 pitch. There he goes. And it's lined past Wong and into right field. Runners at the corners now for Cleveland. That may have just snuck under the glove of Colton Wong.
Well, if it's too hot for Colton Wong to handle, then it's just too hot, because he's got very good hands, and this ball just had that sinking action to it, and it went right under his glove. He tried to short hop it, and of course he's trying to keep the ball in front of him too. He doesn't want that ball to go into the outfield, so at least he could keep Ramirez from heading to third, but it didn't work.
Carlos Santana. He is a very selective hitter, kind of the American League version of Goldschmidt. Fourth lowest swing percentage in Major League Baseball. Sees a ton of pitches. Doesn't chase. Selective. Not the ideal start here for Daniel Ponce de Leon.
And where are his misses? Up.
A ball and a strike. Paul Clemens, our home plate umpire. Jeremy Rehak down at first. Ed Hickox at second. Jerry Meals, the crew chief. Replay, it's Joe West, Mark Carlson, and Bill Welke. Runners at the corners, and now time is called. So another one of those switch hitters here, the top 4 switch hitters in this lineup. So the highest percentage of teams' plate appearances by switch hitters are right here, the Cleveland Indians. And you have to go back to like the Cardinals teams that you played on to have this amount of switch hitters in a lineup. You had Ozzie and Willie and Vince and Terry Pendleton and Tommy Herr, Jose Oquendo, those kind of players. Runner goes, throw by Yachty, and it's off the glove of DeYoung and into center, and the sloppy defense continues. That leads to a run. This has just not been crisp defense by the Cardinals.
It really hasn't, and it hasn't been just one player, one place. It's just been an overall malaise defensively, and really hard to explain why. That throw just got away from him. It sails, and Paulie D's trying to just reach it as best he can, and might have been a close play had the throw been on the money, but the Indians get on the board first with another Cardinal error.
Cardinals bring in the infield with a runner at third. Fly ball. Foul territory. Carpenter can't come up with it.
You just mentioned Terry Pendleton. That might have been his kind of play. He was so good at those.
Best at it.
Oh, my
Back
goodness.
to the infield at Old Busch Stadium, too.
He had the ability to run to right where the ball was and look up in there. I don't know how he did it.
He was awesome at it.
Way harder than it looks, by the way.
Oh.
I'm not faulting Matt Carpenter for not catching that ball. Just saying Terry Pendleton seemed like he always did.
So 2-2 the count. Franmil Reyes is at the on-deck circle. Big gap in right center. And the 3-2 pitch. And he missed down and in. So a couple of walks, and now a heck of a lot of trouble here in this first inning. So the DH is Reyes. 291, 6 home runs, and he has driven in 18.
Ponce's inability to throw strikes here in the first inning, you do think that there can be a tie to defense. Now, you can't say that overall the last week or so with the Cardinals, but, you know, you get the infielders back on their heels. It just has kind of a slow start, and the timing, the crispness goes away for the defenders.
And a fly ball lifted out to deep right center field. It's at the wall, and it's gone. An opposite field home run. Franmil Reyes with his 7th of the year. A 3-run shot, and it's a 4-0 Cleveland lead.
Well, there's a pitch just up, out, over the plate. Again, he's working up, up, up. So what happens is your eyes start thinking up. And that is a reality that hitters will do. They make adjustments just like pitchers do. And I think he was looking up in the zone, got something he could handle. And, boy, that's some big-time power the other way.
So 4-0 Indians. And that pitch taken up and away.
Mentioned the Indians have had some issues of their own, and one of them is the health of their manager, Terry Francona, who I understand is better and recovering, but he had to have surgery not long ago. And really a good baseball man, just loved being around Francona. And then the other issue the Indians had is a couple of their starting pitchers broke protocol on a road trip. And there was some consternation about that even within their clubhouse, and so they were suspended for a bit, both Plesac and Clevenger. And so, you know, every team's had to deal with something, and they've certainly, seems like they've been able to overcome that.
Earlier this week, Indians president of baseball operations told Zach Plesac they don't have an opportunity for him at the major league level. Knocked down by Goldschmidt. So Plesac is at their alternate site. And over to the bag is Ponce de Leon, and there's 2 away.
Clevenger's been a big winner with this team.
Jordan Luplow, the left fielder, hitting 139. And a fastball and a strike. A 1 pitch. Now 0-2. Off-speed pitch, just off the plate, little low. And it's 1-2 the count. These two clubs last met in 2018. St. Louis taking 2 of 3 here at Busch. Indians thus far have been a very good road team. They have won 10 of the 15 road games they played in this year. Again, you know, home field advantage not really a factor,
yeah.
but still.
It definitely as kind of small a margin of advantage as we've seen in the game for a long time to play at home, and that's obviously understandable. I mean, there are still some things about, you know, not being at home and being in a hotel and being in a different city, but the reality is the fan factor is clearly not there, and you know, not a lot is similar to other years in 2020, and that's one of them. So it is interesting as you think towards the playoffs, which, Dan, are not that far away.
No.
Home field advantage in the playoffs is kind of, well, maybe not that big a deal.
In a 60-game season right now, the Dodgers are on pace to win 44 games.
Right.
So they would have home field advantage. The first round is 3 games.
Against the 8th seed.
And you play those 3 games at home. But in baseball, 3 games, not really having home field advantage, you could lose. You could drop 2 at 3.
Well, you and I talked about what if that's the Cincinnati Reds and you've got to face Trevor Bauer and Sonny Gray and the Reds lineup comes together. I mean, it could be you're in and you're out.
And that pitch taken outside. And with that, they start to now, in the bullpen, get loose, and someone has grabbed a baseball to get loose on the mound. Pitch count at 36. Jake Woodford begins to get loose in the Cardinal bullpen. 3 walks in the inning.
I'm a big fan of Daniel Ponce de Leon. I just like being around him. I think he's just an interesting guy that's got, you know, kind of has overcome a lot of things to get to become a big leaguer and has a big upside. But I think the reality is it's hard to send him back out again for another start after his start to this season. I like his arm in the bullpen, maybe 2 or 3 innings, but either a guy like Woodford or Austin Gomber, you may have to go an alternate route. But the reality beyond that is you've got a lot of double headers. You're going to need more than 5 starters. You're going to need 8 starters, 7 or 8 starters. And so it's going to be more opportunities for Daniel, but he's got to get sharper.
The pitch taken for a ball outside. Fouled back, 1 ball and 1 strike. So 38 pitches this inning, career high for one single inning for Daniel Ponce de Leon.
I would say the antithesis of what we were hoping for.
Two and one the count with a runner at first. And that is a ball, and that may be it. And it will be. Mike Schilt is going to go to his pen. So tough night for Daniel Ponce de Leon. Jake Woodford will come on, and Daniel cannot get out of the first. 4 walks in the inning. Well, let's look at your Toyota key to the game.
Well, I had a feeling today that when you look at this kind of game with two pitchers that have big upsides, but you think about how the offenses are down a bit. Really, whichever starter does better wins this game. And unfortunately, that is not a good start for the Cardinals as Daniel Ponce de Leon exits this game here in the first inning. Jake Woodford's been very good in his rookie season so far, but this is exactly what you didn't want to happen in this game.
Delino DeShields, 9th place hitter, so the Indians will bat around here in the first inning. Runners at first and second. 4 walks in the inning. The 3-run blast by Franmil Reyes, the big one. One and two. And a swing and a miss, so Woodford finishes off the Indians here in the top of the first, but the damage is done. It's 4-0. Well, the Cardinals find themselves in a hole now. It's 4-0 as we move to the home half of the first here in St. Louis. The lineup, Colton Wong, Paul DeYoung in the 2-hole, then Paul Goldschmidt. Brad Miller, the designated hitter, Carpenter, Molina, O'Neill, Fowler, and Carlson. Tristan McKenzie, the 23-year-old out of Brooklyn, New York.
Born in Brooklyn and went to high school in Florida and was going to go to Vanderbilt and was all set to go there, but the Indians had a different idea, drafting him in the first round. And again, he's come on quickly, and he could not have been better at his first start in the big leagues. 1 walk and 10 punch-outs against the Tigers.
He's 8 strikeouts away to match Herb Score's franchise record, which would be 18 in 1955 for the most strikeouts in a pitcher's first 2 major league appearances. So 10 Ks came on his 4-seam fastball, which averaged 95. and got as high as 97 in that first start. Beat the Tigers 6-1 in his debut. That was Saturday. 1 run on 2 hits and 10 Ks. Pretty impressive.
Well, let's look, Dan, at his Hyundai pitch arsenal. There's the fastball you talked about, averaging 95. Now, if it's averaging 95, there's a few that have been above that. But a 4-pitch pitcher, and they're all good.
Out of play.
And the challenge of hitting a guy you've never seen before, who's extremely tall and extremely thin. I mean, it's just a different look for a pitcher, isn't it? I mean, he's just all arms and legs coming at you. Oh, and a baseball at 95.
Yeah. And Wong lifts it in the air to center field. And a diving catch. Delino to Shields. What a play in center.
I thought this might drop, but it had a little bit too much carry to it. There's the jump by the Shields, and he lays out, makes a nice play.
What do you think about moving up Paul DeYoung to the second spot?
Well, with Tommy Edman being out of that, you think, what's the best second choice? I think that's him getting a rare day off. Tommy's played a lot this year, but I think it's a good choice. I might have considered sticking Dylan Carlson in that spot, although, he's hit into some bad luck, has some bad numbers early on, but, maybe that's the kind of thing that would get him going.
Hit up the middle and a base hit. 1-out single for Paul DeYoung.
Nice, easy stroke by DeYoung. Just bat to ball. That's it. This pitch is up in the zone, too, and he just sends it right back where it came. You realize how frustrating, from a pitcher's point of view, how fast that gets on you? I mean, that ball's not that close to McKenzie. I mean, it's not that close, but it sure feels like it.
It sure does.
You can say, oh, well, it went by my head about 3 or 4 feet away. It wasn't that close. Well, you hear it. It whizzes. I mean, it actually makes a noise. I mean, there's a tss, like a little fly kind of buzzing past your ear, and then your heart beats a little faster, and then you calm down.
Here's Goldschmidt. 340, 5 extra base hits, driven in 9, 10 runs scored during his 18-game on-base streak. On-base percentage, .478. That leads all of baseball. Ricky, I had just a fabulous conversation over the phone today with Paul Goldschmidt. And one of the things he said to me was, I love playing the game of baseball. And he said it's so important for us as players to be playing for everyone right now, for every reason that you can imagine, for those that need the game as an outlet, those that enjoy the game of baseball,
those that are isolated.
He mentioned that specifically, those that are isolated, those that are sick, that need the outlet to watch the game that they love. He said it's just so important that we play this game.
Well said.
And he said, selfishly speaking, he said, I sure do love to play the game.
That's part of why we enjoy it, isn't it? I mean, you enjoy baseball because you see the passion, you see you see not only the ability, but that somebody is, a grown man, and yet he's playing a kid's game.
Yeah. Hits it out to center, and the Shields is there. And DeYoung is back safely. Brings in Brad Miller. Let's meet the Indians defensively. Around the Horn is presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Luplo, DeShields, Naquin in the outfield. Ramirez, Lindor, Hernandez, Santana, and Roberto Perez is behind the plate. He said, I just want to play. I just love playing baseball. I love it.
When I would bet for the average Major League Baseball player that they rediscovered that love to a higher degree after having it taken away from them for a while.
I think especially the older guys.
Yeah.
You know, the older guys that maybe thought about or on the last few years, and Paul Goldschmidt is not one of them, but I mean guys that are close to retiring, a year or two away. And they said, you know what? I got a taste of what retirement may be like. I still have that.
I'm not ready.
Yeah, I have that burning desire to play.
Well, any player that's retired will tell you the same thing. There's a grieving process you go through when you can't play anymore. And maybe you can't play because you can't play. But it's a hard process, and they got a taste of that, I think, the last 5 months.
Sure. And so did Mama. And she said, get out there and play.
That's right.
Base hit for Miller up the middle.
There's a lot of truth to what you said. You're around for 5 months. You start rearranging the furniture, and your wife says, well, you know what? I was doing fine without you all the time.
Right. We as the family unit have done just
we're
fine
good
without you.
We're good. We love you, but we're good.
Right. I can tell you, even that works for announcers, too.
Oh, it's a little too close to home. Don't you have a golf trip to go on?
Yeah.
I feel like I've heard that before.
Right. Here's Carpenter hitting an even 200 with 1 home run. And he's driven in 12. Runners at first and second.
One big swing here, and you forget about the top of the first a little bit.
Yeah. This guy has had quite the leap. Major League camp for the first time in 2020 in his career, and here he is in the big leagues. A lot of times that first time in camp is just to get you a little taste of being around Major League Baseball, Major League players. Breaking ball and a beauty. So 42nd pick overall, 2015.
This young pitcher is a perfect example of why you don't have to have bulging biceps and weigh 240 pounds to throw a baseball hard. It's about arm speed. Hitters have power that's related to strength, but also bat speed, and pitchers get it from both arm strength, upper body strength, but also from just arm speed. And that's how he's throwing 95 miles an hour. It's almost amazing to think that he does, but it's all about the arm speed with him.
Two and two in the count with 2 runners on. Yadier Molina is on deck. And there's a fly ball lifted out to left field. Luplow back in front of the track and makes the catch. Cardinals will strand a pair. And we played 1 inning here at Busch Stadium. Jackie Robinson Day across Major League Baseball.
Cards down 4 as we move to the top of the second. We've seen a lot of good from the Cards defensively. So far on this homestand, we've seen some not so good. 12 errors in 9 games, resulting in 10 unearned runs, not counting tonight. Mike Schultz says These guys are human. It's not anything we enjoy, but defense has been a huge part of our success. He also points to the positive defensive metrics. On the positive side, the Cards are 4th in baseball in defensive runs saved. On the negative, the Cards, who were tops in baseball in fielding percentage last year, 27th this season. So, Dan, like I said, a lot of good, some not so good.
Yeah, we've seen that again tonight. This is Hernandez. Base hit. Going the other way.
And it also, of course, to be fair to the Cardinals defense, it's when you take the snapshot. The Cardinals were first in the National League in defense last week. 8 days ago, they were number 1. They've had a bad week, and so they've dropped all the way to 13. So we're taking the snapshot now. And the other thing I would do to defend the defense a little bit is the Cardinals pitchers, all those unearned runs that Jim's talking about, pitcher's job is to keep that from happening. Get the double play after an error. Get a strikeout after an error so the error doesn't hurt you. That's why it's a team sport, and you can't just kind of shift the blame to just one place.
Jose Ramirez. The Indians have the longest World Series drought. Theo Epstein engineered the 2004 Red Sox to their first title. And Terry Francona was the manager of that team, and he was close with the Indians. Two-time manager of the year in 13 and 16. They're going to go to postseason play this year. And they can pitch. I mean, it's what's going to carry them.
Well, we've talked about postseason a couple of times, but as you look at the Indians' numbers, over 90 wins, each one of those 4, including that 102-win season in 2017, we're talking about postseason because it's not that far down the road.
Right. They're a month away.
And for a reminder for fans that may not have looked at this yet or thought about it, there will be 8 teams in each league in the playoffs. We talked about it earlier, but the top seed will play number 8 and 2, 7, and so on. So the first 6 teams in the league to get automatically in the playoffs are the number 1 and number 2 teams. And that's where the Cardinals are right now, number 2. And if you looked at the National League, there would be a team in the playoffs with a record of under 500 if we played today, if it stopped today. So it'll be very fascinating that last couple of weeks as teams vie for that last couple of spots, and it would make me think that you would have less teams that were sellers in terms of the trade market, and why that's maybe been a little slow.
Got to wonder too about payrolls. Where we at financially with a lot of teams. That's part of it.
You need income for payrolls, don't you?
Yeah. And I think one of the other big question marks, and we talked about this too, is just scouting players, and there's no minor league season right now. You want to go get that big bopper, that frontline starter, you give up prospects. Well, prospects aren't playing. They're at alternate camps, some of them, good portion of them, top ones, but you're not watching them.
Who is? I mean, a couple of coaches are. That's it.
Here's a 1-2 pitch to Jose Ramirez.
Not the start the Cardinals wanted for a lot of reasons, but also because of the tough day yesterday. Had high hopes that the Cardinals would at least win 1 out of 2 against the Pirates, maybe win them both, pick up a game on the Chicago Cubs, but boy, they just could not find any hits yesterday. Not enough of them. Mike Shildt has had quite a last year, hasn't he?
It's been amazing. I mean, manager of the year.
Wins the division, manager of the year, gets married.
You got to throw that in there. That's a pretty big moment in your life.
leads a bunch of young men through a pandemic.
Summer camp. Team gets hit with COVID.
His mom passed. In fact, he was saying before the game that every once in a while he'll look up in the stands. His mom, he has a cardboard cutout of his mom and his wife and his daughters. They're all up in the stands together, and he said sometimes that just gives him that good feeling. I mean, good for him.
It's cool. Here's a 1-2 pitch to Ramirez. And rightfully so in that prime seat, Jackie Robinson tonight. On Jackie Robinson Day throughout Major League Baseball.
Which, for fans of me, are wondering why today. Well, it's normally April 15th. Every year we celebrate it on April 15th, and it's something that's just in the pattern of baseball now, and it's a great thing. But, of course, we weren't playing on April 15th. So this day was picked with several things in mind.
There's a base hit into right field.
And the reason that this day was picked is, again, a couple of reasons. It's the anniversary of Jackie actually having the conversation with Branch Rickey for the first time about being signed. Here's that last pitch. Up again. A lot of balls up today. And, of course, it's also the anniversary of the very day today, August 28th, of Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream speech. And if folks haven't listened to that in a while, call it up on Google, find it, listen to it. You'll be glad you did.
There's Lindor, and a ground ball backhanded by Goldschmidt, and they've got a rundown now. That's Hernandez in the rundown trying to stay in it. They could turn this into 2. Just run them on back, and they may have 2 here.
There's nobody covering any bases.
And that's the second one coming in, and that's Dylan Carlson. Heads-up play by the outfielder coming in, and it turns out to be a double play. What a heads-up play.
And some crazy base running on the Indians' part. They were trying to do a little bit too much there. And Goldie, I think because the score is what it is, thinks we can't have another run. I can maybe get a double play, but I'm not giving up another run. So he goes home. Here it is. Ground ball to Goldie. Gets it on the backhand. I'm not going to let this run score. Yachty runs him back to the bag. That's what you're supposed to do. Ramirez isn't sure what to do. He's halfway between. Yachty wants to get him out, but there's nobody at second yet. Then he thinks about first. Nobody there either. And by that time, Dylan Carlson sneaks in from center field, and they get a double play. That is a odd double play.
What do you mean? It's the old 3-2-8.
Yeah, see it all the time.
The old 3-2-8 double play. That's a big one. Coaches will tell you on every play there is somewhere to go for every player on the field.
That's right.
You may not think that way, but there is.
I think Jake Woodford realized there were several places to go, but by the time you realize it, it's too late.
Yes.
Again, not blaming him, but it was a very odd play. Makes me think of Red Schoendienst saying that you'll always see something different. Every year you'll see something you've never seen in baseball.
Inside, and that's a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. So 2 outs and a runner at first, and the 1-1 pitch. Gets away from Yachty. He'll fire down to second, and a quick tag, not in time.
Yachty scrambled to get it, and just not enough time to get that swipe tag on the back of Lindor.
So 2 balls and 1 strike. And again, it just has not been crisp Cardinal baseball. Two balls and 1 strike on Santana. We're in the top of the second.
You know, I like to say this about the game of baseball, which I've loved since I was 2 years old. I mean, I did. I've just always loved the game of baseball, and I just love watching it, love playing it, love watching other people play, watching my kids play it, other people's kids playing it. But there's one thing that is absolute certainty about the game of baseball. It is easy to play, and it's hard to play really well. And so the mistakes we're talking about, I mean, it's understandable. I mean, it's the big leagues, as Tim Carver would say.
3-1 hit down the right field line near the pole, and it is a fair ball and a 2-run homer. Santana, the home run, a 2-run shot. And that adds to the Indians' lead. High, towering home run hit by Carlos Santana in his 4th of the year.
You mentioned he likes to take a lot of pitches, and he takes them until he can ambush you. And that's what he did. Ready for that one. Again, another pitch up. Over the belt. And over the wall. We're experimenting with all these new rules in baseball in 2020. I mean, we've got a guy at second base in extra innings. I mean, we're kind of out there on the limb, right, Dan? We're doing crazy things. I think we should have 1 do-over per year.
But this would be it. There's a ground ball that's hit to DeYoung. And so far, it's all Indians.
Let's start over.
6-0 Cleveland midway through 2. Take a look at IKEA. Give it everything. The highest winning percentage in Major League Baseball since 2011. Dodgers, Yankees, then the Cardinals, Washington, and Cleveland rounding out the top 5. Up and into Yadier Molina. Watch out. 6-0 Indians. Molina, O'Neill, and Fowler. Well, today is game number 1,998 overall for Molina. 1,962 as a catcher. That's 5th all time. He's closing in on 2,000 hits. He's only 21 away. And Yachty sends it into shallow center field. DeShields under it to make the catch.
Well, everybody can have an opinion about it, but you get 2,000 hits, you win 9 Gold Gloves, you go to 9 All-Star games. It's hard for me to imagine anybody thinking he's not a Hall of Famer.
Couple of championships, 06,
Again,
11.
everybody has their opinion, and they will, but he'd have my vote if I had one.
You know, from a national perspective, too, I think the winning has got to be a major part of it, too. Now, we are seeing him day in and day out of his career, which began in 2004 at the Major League level. So we've seen a lot of the little things, the intangibles, but the winning.
So intangible. Let's talk about an intangible. How about the fact that no one runs on the Cardinals the last few years even? And Yachty's not a young player anymore, but that you still normally don't run on the Cardinals. And that metric is important in this game. They're not taking extra bases, and the Cardinals' pitching has been better because of it.
He's guided various staffs throughout the years, young staffs. Here's Tyler O'Neill. 3 homers on the season.
I just had a mental picture in my mind, and maybe it's all the players wearing 42, but I just tried to visualize a Field of Dreams moment of the Cardinals playing tonight at Busch Stadium, Yachty behind the plate, and Jackie Robinson getting a big lead, trying to steal second. How awesome would that be?
Pretty cool. 3-1 pitch. Breaking ball on the 3-1, now 3-2. How about that? A 6-run lead, and he goes on a 3-1 breaking ball. Lifted in the air down the right field line, slicing foul. Jackie Robinson, what did he do against St. Louis? 342 the average, drove in 119, high OPS, not bad at all.
Well, Jackie was a complete player in MVP, World Series champion, Rookie of the Year. But of course, the toughest thing he had to do was be the first.
I'm sure you have heard the many stories about Red Schoendienst and Stan the Man, where there were some players that did not want to play against Jackie Robinson, and those two specifically stood up and said, we will play.
Yeah, frankly, I mean, if you're going to be a student of history, you have to deal with the bad history, too. The fact that there were players in St. Louis didn't want to play, and the commissioner had to step in and say, well, you don't play, then you're out. And good for him to say that. But I also had the fortune of being with the Dodgers for a couple of years. So when you're in Cardinal Nation, you get all the Red Schoendienst and Bob Gibson stories and Lou Brock, et cetera. But when you're with the Dodgers, you hear an awful lot about Jackie Robinson, as you should. And many of the other great players in Dodgers history, and Sandy Koufax. But one of the guys that I enjoyed meeting the most, Don Newcomb, who was a teammate of Jackie's.
Impacting other lives, the career as a Brooklyn Dodger. Jackie Robinson, and the resume and the bio there. What did Don have to say?
Well, I mean, he had to go through it all himself, too. You think about Roy Campanella and Don Newcomb and Jackie Robinson. Really, the conversation that was the most amazing to me, I spoke actually this spring with Carl Erskine, who was on the Brooklyn Dodger teams in the World Series playing against the Yankees.
Lifted in the air, deep right field off the bat of Fowler. It is gone into the Cardinal bullpen. Dexter Fowler on Jackie Robinson Day with a 2-run homer.
That will mean something to Dexter Fowler in ways we can only imagine. Wearing number 42. Big fly, Dexter. Good for him. One of the things that Carl Erskine told me about Jackie Robinson was his first year in the big leagues was Jackie's second. So Carl Erskine, who's 93 now, he's been married 70 years. And I had a very hour-long conversation with him in spring. He's just a wonderful guy. And he said, let me tell you something about Jackie Robinson. When I went to the big leagues in 1948, the guy on the team that helped me feel comfortable and assimilate me to being a big leaguer the most was Jackie Robinson. And beyond that, Mr. Erskine said this. He said, when Jackie was done playing, he should have been our manager, could have been our manager. He'd have been a great manager. And so he was not the first manager in professional baseball. Certainly the first player who was African-American, but he was the first broadcaster, Jackie Robinson.
That's right.
And he also was the CEO of a Fortune 500 company.
Pretty impressive.
Trailblazer.
Yep. And that's not to mention, too, what he did as a collegiate athlete in the various sports outside of baseball.
UCLA,
yes.
No doubt. He could have done a lot of different things. Served in the military.
Right. So the Cardinals get on the board. 6-2. Fowler's third career home run on an 0-2 pitch. And the 2-2. So even without fans here at the ballpark, the fireworks still go off, and the haze and the smoke that hangs overhead. And you still have the organ music, and you still have Fredbird. He's up in Big Mac land. The 2-2. The check swing, and he did go. So the strikeout of Dylan Carlson in the first of the night for this young right-hander.
Just couldn't lay off. That's a changeup. And, you know, the changeup has given Dylan some trouble. It's like he's not picking that up as well as he is a breaking ball. He has some hits on curveball sliders, but the changeup he's been fooled on several times. And that was a good one.
Here's Colton Wong. It's a diving catch in center by Delino DeShields. Took a hit away.
Well, all you can do if you're the Cardinals is peck away. 2 here, 2 there. Stay in it.
All you can do. Long way to go.
You bet. And that's the beauty of a 9-inning game instead of a 7-inning game. Be a little more worried if it was 7.
It's something that Wong has been doing a lot of. He just does not swing and miss very often. It's going to happen, but 83.7% contact rate. Third best among leadoff hitters, top 8 in all of the National League.
His swing is more compact and shorter.
Puts it in play here to second, and Hernandez retires Colton Wong. Home run hit by Dexter Fowler. Jackie Robinson Day. All players wearing number 42, and it's 6-2.
The score or just 42? Yep. Gotcha. As Dan and Ricky were just discussing, Jackie Robinson Day all across Major League Baseball. The great Jackie Robinson, the Brooklyn Dodger, and Dexter Fowler, of course, who just hit the home run, was asked about this day, and Dexter said, look, this is one of the most emotional days for me. Dexter went on to say, it is an honor for all of us to wear that number 42. Cards manager Mike Schultz said, Jackie Robinson had a lot of courage, and Dan, he also went on to say that Jackie, his character and his personal sacrifice was exemplary.
Larry Doby as we play Cleveland on the other side. The historic Jackie Robinson wearing number 42 for the Dodgers. Larry Doby, of course, with Cleveland.
I was thinking of that today, thinking I spent some time in the Cleveland Indian organization, and of course Larry Doby's a name you know there. He eventually, Larry Doby, managed the Chicago White Sox, was the second African-American manager in baseball and the second player in baseball. And so, of course, we focus on Jackie today, as we should. But you think about this, the several other players that came to the big leagues really within 3 months. It was 3 months later that Larry Doby first put on a Cleveland Indians jersey. And so he's certainly well-respected. Again, was a manager in the big leagues. Bill Veeck wanted him on his team. And you look at some of the highlights of Larry Doby's career. 7-time All-Star center fielder. And he was on the team with Satchel Paige. They were the first 2 African Americans to win a World Series. How about that?
Yep.
1948.
The 2-2 pitch to Tyler Naquin, and that swung on and missed, and a strikeout. Woodford, his second strikeout in relief of Daniel Ponce de Leon, who lasted 2/3 of an inning.
Be interesting how long Jake can go in this game. Good riding fastball. That too up a little bit. A lot of pitches up here tonight. 8 total runs on the board. I could see Jake going 4 plus, maybe getting through 5 innings. If he can do that, that would be a big help. You start counting innings. One thing Mike Schilt was telling us 2 days ago, he said, the first thing you do when you get to the ballpark, you count how many innings you have in your bullpen. I mean, you literally count them. Say, Danny Mac threw yesterday, so maybe he's got 1. And this guy threw, maybe he's got 2. And so you get the total number and you think, okay, that's my number today. And you're hoping that your pitcher doesn't go 2/3 of an inning, so you have to use all of those available innings you have in your bullpen. Somebody's got to throw them. And if they throw them today, they can't throw them tomorrow.
Right. Luplow walked back in the first inning. And that's when you show up at the ballpark, and then guys got to play catch. And sometimes guys say, and I'm just not feeling it.
Right.
As you well know. Those are what you hope are honest conversations.
Yeah. Well, how do you feel? And how do you feel is unknowable, really, until you start throwing. It might change really by the hour. I mean, you get to the ballpark and you say, oh, my goodness. And then you go to the trainer and you get some work, and then all of a sudden something happens. As a starter, we used to call it Miracle Day, because your arm would ache for 4 days, and then it would be your day to start, and all of a sudden it would feel good again. It was Miracle Day. Something about the cadence of every 5th day just works.
Yeah. Jack Flaherty going tomorrow. And the 2-2 pitch. Woodford off the mound. He'll step and throw. It makes the play. So he's gotten the first 2 here in the top of 3. Download the MLB app and get in-game video highlights, live pitch-by-pitch, breaking news, player updates, stat leaderboards, and much more. 6-2 our score. Roberto Perez walked back in inning number 1.
Actually went through the list of the first African-American player to play for each team in the big leagues today. And I was a little surprised that by some of them, some were players I didn't know. They weren't necessarily all-stars, but I guess it hadn't registered that Ernie Banks was the first African-American to play for the Cubs. Clearly, Ernie Banks, a Hall of Famer, and one of the great guys to be around. The famous for saying, let's play 2, because he loved the game so much. After it was over, he wanted to play some more. But I did not realize he was the very first African-American to play for the Cubs.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. Taken just a bit high. Dexter Fowler with that home run. 30th team he is homered against in the regular season. And remember, he homered against these Indians to lead off Game 7 of the World Series. In his final year with the aforementioned Chicago Cubs. Then signed with St. Louis. 2-1 and a base hit into center. Off the end of the bat, maybe, shaking his hands. Little BBs. But in Cleveland, in April, that would really hurt.
Oh, you bet it would. Well, he's off to a slow start, so he'll take any hit he can get right now.
Those BBs don't hurt nearly as bad when you're standing there at first base. And that swung on and missed. Delino DeShields. Hasn't been that tight breaking ball that
No.
sometimes we see from Jake Woodford.
He's got a good breaking ball and a good fastball that he'll ride up there in the mid-90s, but you're right. I think that's one thing you have to discover when you become a reliever, how to stay sharp with your off-speed pitches especially. It takes a little more effort and strength to get that pitch just right, and then you're tempted to overthrow it as he did that pitch. I think that was a cutter, and he just... So the point is you find that kind of happy place where it comes out of your hand free and easy, but you're still throwing it. You can't just kind of flip it up there. But if you're throwing multiple days in a week, that's just a different deal from starting.
Two-one pitch. Talked about it numerous times, but Tom Alston was the first African-American baseball player for the St. Louis Cardinals when they had integrated. And he had been acquired from the West Coast and then was a big guy and dealt with some off-the-field problems. And they expected really monster numbers from him. It never really materialized, but he was the first player, black player, African-American player for the St. Louis Cardinals. The 2-2.
I have it on good authority that both Dave LaPointe and John Tudor are watching our broadcast tonight. John Tudor, of course, one of our new Cardinal Hall of Famers, and he's going to have to wait till next year to give his stunning acceptance speech. Can't wait.
2-2 pitch. What's the over-under on how long that goes?
I will promise you it's shorter than Vince Coleman's. And Tom Hers will be, too.
Agreed.
What do you think, 2 minutes?
Oh, yeah. Taking the over.
Okay.
Runner off with his pitch and the 3-2. Get up the middle, a little backhanded stop. He'll find it, throws, and safe at first. Cardinals will take a look as DeShields got down the line.
He did get down the line. I thought he was out. But, boy, he had some closing speed. The last couple of steps were very quick to the bag, and Cardinals are trying to determine whether they want to challenge that or not. And they say play on.
So it's a base hit for Delino DeShields after the backhanded stop by Woodford. Top of the lineup and Cesar Hernandez. Runners at first and second. John Tudor, Tommy Herr, and Bill White headed to the Cardinals Hall of Fame. All good things to those who wait.
That's right. Did you just make that up?
I did. It's just...
This came to you?
You really did. Never heard that before.
Well, there's a lot of people in our country waiting. They're fans waiting to get into ballparks. Won't that be a great day? Just imagine that.
Can't come soon enough. Runners at first and second. 6-2 our score. Hernandez has popped out and a base hit to left field. Runners at first and second. Indians have out hit the Cardinals 7-3. Scored 4 in the first, 2 in the second, trying to add on here in the third. Cincinnati leading the Cubs 5-2. That's in the bottom of the seventh. Milwaukee in the top of 5, leading Pittsburgh 6-0. Outfield straight away, fairly shallow, too. That might be a byproduct, too, of who's at second in Perez. Already down by 4.
Cardinals had a game during this homestand against the Kansas City Royals that for much of the game was stuck in mud, and then they had a great comeback at the end, and it turned a baseball game broke out. And so we're hoping and we're patiently waiting for that to happen here tonight. I think we're patient.
We're going to have plenty of patience tonight. Two balls, 2 strikes. Next to Hernandez, lifted in the air. Fowler, and he makes the catch. Indians strand a pair. DeYoung, Goldschmidt, Miller coming up. Boeing, the USO of Missouri, and the Cardinals proud to honor our military who served both at home and away. Tonight's honoree is Sergeant Taj Welsh. Proudly serves our country in the U.S. Marine Corps. Thank you. We are your biggest fans. Here's DeYoung, Goldschmidt, and Miller. DeYoung with a base hit to center, first time up. Hit a home run on opening day against the Pirates. Has not hit one in 9 games since. This is his first time seeing the Indians. Hits it a mile high. On the infield, Lindor under it. Makes the catch. Reminder that Cardinals baseball is brought to you by Bud Light Seltzer. Unquestionably good. And by Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the St. Louis area. Find yours at your Mid-America Chevy dealer. Goldschmidt fly to center, and that's ball 1.
Talked about having limited number of innings in the bullpen on a day-by-day basis. Good news from Mike Schilt today. Ryan Helsley has begun throwing more in earnest. He had a side session a couple days ago, and he's going to throw BP a couple more times within the next 3 or 4 days. And assuming that goes well, we may see him back here quickly.
Carlos Martinez is at the alternate camp and will be used as a starter when he comes back.
I believe today he was throwing a live BP, and also Junior Fernandez is back here, so that's some good news. Never have enough arms, especially when you have 11 doubleheaders.
Yeah. Well, how rare was the 3-2-8 double play?
Yeah, how rare was it, Dan?
The first in Major League history since they started keeping records of that in the expansion era since 1961, we're told. Up and in, and that'll be a walk. Another walk for Paul Goldschmidt.
Now, we know there's a lot of moms and dads out there saying, wait a minute, I saw that out at the local field.
Which you probably did.
Yeah, so that's the kind of thing that happens at the local field, just playing travel ball or little league, but not the big leagues. And we saw it. We saw it here first, folks. This is Yachty. Get the lead runner. Then everybody's caught in between a bag, but nobody's covering the bag. So Yachty, last minute, Dylan Carlson covered the bag, and Yachty celebrates. Nice double play.
Strike to Miller. Give Carlson a lot of credit for coming in on that play.
That could have been a triple play.
I was thinking they were going to get it.
Possibly, yes.
One ball and one strike. Room on the left side of the infield. Jose Ramirez, third baseman, is really off the line. I mean, he's as far as you can play off the line as a third baseman. And Miller pops it up. Shortstop wants it. Lindor. Miller 1 for 2, and now Carpenter. He came up with runners at first and second and flied to left. Andrew Miller was placed on the 10-day injured list yesterday. That's retroactive to Monday. Shoulder fatigue. Remember, he left Cleveland via free agency to come to St. Louis. You have Austin Gomber, probably, you'd have to say, maybe going into those late inning situations. Looked good yesterday. As you said,
I would say he's your late lefty right now.
And Helsley coming back. So we're going to get some arms now. Later inning, higher leverage situations.
I think Genesis Cabrera could be that guy late if he gets a little more consistent from batter to batter, inning to inning. His stuff is dynamite.
In the air to center. And the Cardinals strand a runner. We have played 3 here in St. Louis. Cleveland on top. Proficient is a proud sponsor of the Red Jacket Club and all of its members. And tonight, Proficient salutes Bob Gibson. He's been a Red Jacket member since 2014. Jose Ramirez, Francisco Lindor, and Carlos Santana. You know, we rolled back the double play.
Yes.
I think I noticed something.
I'm with you. After watching it, we watched it 4 times probably.
So initially I did not notice this, but after watching the replay, I did notice something. So Yachty went to make the tag at third. Watch, the ball is in his...
Where's the ball? Where's the glove?
Oh, boy. The ball was in his throwing hand, I think.
Hard to tell for sure.
Yeah. And the ball was not in the glove, and the glove is tagging the runner. Hence, the runner might have been safe. I'm not sure.
Why don't you just keep that between us?
I didn't notice, so I'm moving on. It's fourth inning, Ricky.
It's past the statute of limitation anyway. What's it, like 8 seconds?
Yeah.
Past that, we're good.
Just moving on. Here's Jose Ramirez.
Well, you said you didn't notice it. I didn't notice it.
Not initially, no.
Apparently no one in the Cleveland Indians organization noticed it.
So after watching the replay again, after we said it hadn't been done since 1961, I was watching and I go, wait a minute. Hold on here.
Stop the presses.
Yeah. That's in the dirt, and it's 2-2. So I said to our producer, Brian Shapiro, I said, would you mind rolling that one back during the break? But he might have had it in his glove. I'm not sure. We could have a different angle that would show it differently. I don't know. Again, I'm just not sure, Ricky. So I'm sure we'll have different angles, and maybe put the ball in the glove and all for naught. But
as we say about playing, we always tell players you got to turn the page. We will also. Yeah, he's out.
He's out. Here's a 2-2. Shift on the right side. And Yachty holds on. And there's a strikeout. And that's the third of the night for Woodford. It's just that angle, it looked like it may have been out of the glove, but there might be another angle that it does show that his hand is in the glove, and then he'd be out. So who knows?
Not the sharpest of breaking balls there for Woodford. More of a backup slider there than a sharp one. been a bit of a labor for him, but he's getting through it. Again, action in the Cardinals bullpen, but I'd really like to see him get through 5 if possible.
Junior Fernandez getting loose in the pen. Now Lindor, who was part of that play. Scored a couple of runs, stole a base, single back in the first to right field.
The problem with stretching out Woodford too far, on the other hand, is he's going to be toast for a while if you do that.
Here's the 0-1. Fastball. And it's 0-2 with 1 out and nobody on. Lifted in the air to left field. O'Neill with the catch.
We were talking about Larry Doby last inning, who's a big part of the Indians' history. Again, the first African-American player to play for the Indians, the second overall behind Jackie 3 months later. You know, just reading up on a lot of the comments of the people that knew Larry Doby, they all said the same thing. He had zero problems with Jackie Robinson being the first and him not getting any notoriety. He really is not a name you hear a lot about, Larry Doby. But, you know, all the sacrifices that Jackie went through, Larry Doby had to go through as well. Of course, Jackie died young, died at the age of 53, and Larry Doby was one of his pallbearers.
1-2-3 go the Cleveland Indians midway through 4. Indians on top. 6-2. Download the McDonald's app for medium fries for just $1 after any Cardinals home run. Fred, we're just taking it easy tonight.
He is.
Nothing planned, nothing special.
No shtick, just kind of enjoying the baseball game with a lot of his friends up there in Big Mac Land.
Yep.
Wonder what those conversations are like up there.
One-sided. Off the foot of Yadier Molina. It's fly to center. Got the inside of the front foot.
Oh, yeah, maybe the ankle even. Instep, ankle.
Indians return to action tonight. They had an off day Thursday. They've won 14 of their last 20, including 2 of 3 over Minnesota earlier this week.
Tough team to beat.
I think that's been the best lineup we've seen thus far.
I think so. Well, the White Sox have a pretty good one.
May have caught them at the right time.
Yeah, we may have. They've been on a tear since then. I wonder if Woodford might be out of this game. 3 1/3 innings. Really gave up the 2 runs in the second inning, but put up zeros. And I noticed that the Cardinals dugout, really impressed by that. The Cardinals dugout was very congratulatory for Jake when he came in after that last inning. Like, you're giving us a chance here. But 3 1/3 innings, 62 pitches, that might be enough.
And that'll be a leadoff walk for Yadier Molina. Third walk issued by McKenzie.
mentioned 10 strikeouts for McKenzie in his first major league start against Texas, and just 1 here as he pitches in the 4th inning. So he's not really overpowering the Cardinals. They're just not really squaring him up much.
Here's Tyler O'Neill. Walked and scored back in the 2nd. It was on the Dexter Fowler 2-run homer. That'll be a foul ball. 0-2 the count.
If there's a line for fans of Tyler O'Neill, I'm in that line somewhere. I mean, I'm not sure where I am in the line, but I'm in the line. I'm a big fan of his. But I have noticed he seems to be losing a little bit of that plate awareness that I thought he had in spring training. And really, since the break, he's come back and he's back to chasing a little bit more. At least one pitch in this at bat out of the zone by a good 6 or 7 inches.
Most pitches by Woodford since throwing 106. And that was at Iowa September 1st of last year in the minor leagues. That's taken high. So to your point, this may be it for him. And again, Junior Fernandez just standing on the mound in the Cardinal bullpen. Woodford had 12 of 14 first pitch strikes. And a strikeout of Tyler O'Neill. Second strikeout for McKenzie. And our Nissan drive of the game back in the 2nd inning. Dexter going deep.
Boy, he really cleared his top half well, didn't he? You know, clearing the top half, you know that makes me think of Jimmy Ballgame. I don't think anybody did that as well as him. Pitch in and he just clears, opens up just right. I don't mean bails out, open up, but I'm saying put a good swing and turn on a pitch that's up and in. He could do that as well as any left-handed bat I can think of. Usually you think up and in on a lefty, no chance. Not with Ballgame.
Nope. Down and into a lefty, but not with Ballgame. So with 2 strikes, big shift. And the 0-2 pitch to the Cardinal right fielder. This is in. Well, this young man has got a live arm, doesn't he?
And as you said, he's developed quickly, and even more so when you realize that he sat out all of last year with back problems. Upper back issue.
Puts it in play. Back to McKenzie. Out there on to first and not in time.
And a little bit of a collision at second base. When's the last time we saw one of those?
It's been like banned in the game of baseball, hasn't it, Ricky?
Yeah, it really has. I mean, there's Yachty going down the late slide, and his helmet collides. Well, I know one of the other things with the protocol is you're not supposed to be fraternizing, and there was definitely some fraternizing going on there.
Those are 2 buddies, too.
I know. Just found a way to say hello, didn't they?
From Puerto Rico. Here's Dylan Carlson. Kubota Power Stats, hard hit percentage among rookies. Hard hit is defined by 95 miles an hour or better in exit velocity. So he's hit into some tough luck.
One thing I've seen with Dylan, he seems a little jumpy sometimes to me, and maybe that's why he's vulnerable to the changeup. Just out in front, maybe a little bit too quickly with a stride that's, you know, a lot of players don't stride at all, but he's just a little bit out on that front foot, maybe just a hair quick. Pitchers notice that stuff. And then throw you the changeup.
2-1. In the dirt, 3-1. I kind of like your idea of moving him up maybe in front of Goldschmidt.
Yeah. There's a theory in the game that will get a player hot because he will see pitches. They will pitch to you because they don't want to pitch to the next guy. So you will get more fastballs. You'll get more pitches in the zone. And there are times where that jump starts a guy.
3-1. Full count. Fowler off with his pitch. First baseman Carlos Santana backing up a bit. Left-handed batter. And a swing and a miss. And Carlson strikes out for the second time. 6-2 Cleveland as we head to the fifth.
Cards down 6-2 as we go to the fifth. Baseball is baseball, but the stuff around the game in 2020 is a sort of no-frills version of Major League Baseball. That from Austin Gomber, who was on our pregame show today. Gomber told me, you can't get to the ballpark early anymore. Time in the workout room is capped at 20 minutes. Time in the training room is capped at 10 minutes. They do that to keep guys' distance. He says even the amount of scouting video has been stripped down. He said they basically shrink down the day to keep everyone safe, and he's fine with that. But Gomber says once you get between the lines, it's the same game. And Danny says that's the important thing.
No doubt. And I mentioned how I was talking with Paul Goldschmidt. I said, what'd you do in Milwaukee? You know, you're in your room. I said, just push-ups, sit-ups. That's inside the third base line down into the corner. Reyes, who has already homered tonight, extra bases here. That's a double. He said, luckily I brought some stuff in my bag. You know, little things that you can bring in your room. Extensions for curls and various things that you can do. He said, but that was it. He said, you know, you do what you can do. And he said, at home, I've got a home gym, so I can work out there. Not all the guys are lucky enough to have that.
Ponce de Leon, our starter here tonight, was talking about there were 2 tables in his hotel room. One table he used for bent over rows because it wasn't quite as heavy, and then he was benching another one. So, I mean, you've got 2 tables that turn into workout equipment. You just improvise. You do what you have to do. It will be interesting, all those things that Jim said, if players streamline some things in the future.
Yeah.
Maybe we don't have to look at video for an hour. Maybe 10 minutes is enough. And maybe they'll feel that way about certain workouts and even the training room or scouting, whatever it might be. They might say, well, you know, is less more?
I've had so many guys tell me it's like being back in high school.
Right.
Summer ball. Get in the car and go. Show up, get a little sweat going, take some BP, go play the game. That pitch was up, hit out to deep right. It's hooking, and it is gone off the foul pole. Tyler Naquin, his first home run of 2020. Third home run hit by the Indians tonight to extend their lead to 8-2.
2-run shot, 3-run shot, now another 2-run shot. This one barely staying fair. It was hooking all the way. Thought it might get foul, but it didn't. There it goes off the screen and the foul pole. And the Cardinals just not making good pitches in this ballgame.
And that pitch is popped up. Yachty throws the mask near the screen and makes the catch. And now a quick word from Great Southern Bank.
Split some pregame pizza 5 ways. Send money anywhere, anytime with Great Southern Bank's mobile app.
Reyes the double, Naquin a home run, Luplo pops out, and now Roberto Perez. It's the first time we've seen Fernandez, Junior Fernandez, pitch in quite some time.
We've been certainly commenting on how well Giovanni Gallegos did in the Cardinals bullpen last year. He came out of nowhere and became a reliable guy. Well, so was Junior for a long period of time. He lost his changeup for a bit last year and got hit around for a few weeks, but for the most part, his body of work was really good. He throws hard, has a good off-speed delivery.
Oh, 0-2 the count. Perez has walked and also a base hit to center field. 8 and 9 in the lineup for the Indians here with 1 down and nobody on. Cardinals have been out hit in this ballgame 9-3. Off the end of the bat and a single into center. Cut off by Carlson. It might turn into a double. On his way to second, strong throw and the second outfield assist for Dylan Carlson. The other was in left field. That one from center.
Both very strong throws, and this one he does going to his right. Also got credit for an assist on a play at the plate where there was a out at second base. So technically it's his 3rd assist, but the second time he's thrown out a runner. This throw right on the money, and the quick tag by Colton Wong. He is indeed out. Well done.
One thing Dylan Carlson has done, his frustrations at the plate have not led to frustrations defensively.
That's
There's
right.
a base hit into right. It's 4 hits allowed of the 5 that he's seen thus far. DeShields 2 for 3. And Dylan has played all 3 outfield positions and played them well above average.
So you're playing 3 different positions with a team you're not used to playing with, and you think about the communication that's involved in all of that. I mean, how the cutoffs are going to work from right field and how Mike Schultz wants to play them. How does Dexter like to communicate in right center on a ball that's hit out there? What's the terminology you use, and what ball should I go after, and what do I think he's going to be able to play? I mean, there's all kinds of nuances that involve your teammates. So there's a lot to learn. You have to learn the ballpark. And when you travel, you have to learn that ballpark.
Sure.
Does the ball carry him off the wall? And what kind of things can happen?
Here's Cesar Hernandez already up for the 4th time. We're only in the 5th.
I think of the wonderful coach Dave Ricketts, longtime coach with the Cardinals. He would take all of the outfielders, and he coached several years through several different really generations of Cardinal players, but he would take all the outfielders out and he would hit balls off the wall in the new ballparks in various ways just so players could see what might happen. So it's not a surprise.
Sure. Well, how many times have we seen Willie McGee, who's opted out of the season, but hit balls off the side wall, hit balls off the outfield wall, those kind of things.
And that's where Willie got it, from Dave Ricketts.
Now the 2-1 pitch to Cesar Hernandez with a runner at first. 2-2.
And we do hope Willie is watching. We know that Willie opted out, and we miss him being around. Of course, we all miss a lot of things this season, but we know he made the choice that was the right choice for him. But just thinking about Willie today.
I think about him every time we come to the ballpark, and I look down in the dugout and I don't see him. Means so much to this organization. 2-2 the count. Runner off with the next pitch. That's to Shields at first. 3-2 here on Hernandez. Swing and a miss. He got him with the changeup. Tyler Naquin, 2-run homer, 8-2 Indians. One of our favorites as well, the great Lou Brock. This date, 1977, number 893. The BJC Healthcare difference maker, Lou Brock.
Tremendous Cardinal. Tremendous ambassador for the game of baseball. Beyond that, and a good friend.
I've been told he's been checking out our action night in and night out. So, Lou, if you're watching, we're thinking of you. Here's a 1-0 pitch to Colton Wong. Cam Hill is the new pitcher. Made his major league debut July 26 against Kansas City. Last 4 outings, been pretty good. No hits in 5 innings.
And why no McKenzie? Well, the reason, 84 pitches in 4 innings. So we talk about all the pitches the Cardinals have thrown in this game, and there have been plenty. But the Cardinals were also able to have McKenzie work without really a lot of strikeouts. 3 walks, 3 strikeouts, but 84 pitches, only 50 of them in the zone for McKenzie.
Sounds like a young pitcher. The line of a young pitcher, Ricky.
They very well said.
And the 2-2 hit down the left field line and out of play.
We talk about Willie being at the ballpark, miss him. Lou Brock and Jackie always at the ballpark. We miss them, of course. But Whitey Herzog, another guy that we miss seeing at the ballpark. His statement is, if you're gonna be, I'll use a different word. If you're gonna be bad, do it quickly. That's what he would tell us. If you're going to be bad, do it quickly.
So we can go home, he can get some rest, go fishing tomorrow, and then be back at the ballpark.
You're going to give up 5 runs. I don't want no walks involved in that. 5 home runs in a row. Okay, that's fine. Then I only have to watch you for 5 pitches.
Oh, what a play down at first. Santana to Hill covering the bag.
I think he said bad. Something like that.
Well, let's just call it bad because we'd like to keep you on the air.
Okay.
What a play here.
Yeah, nice play on the backhand.
Here's Paul DeYoung, who singled to center and also popped out to short. So 1 out, nobody on. That backs up for a ball inside. This guy's been really good against right-handed batters. You can see why. Now, those 2 curveballs haven't been very good, but against Wong, you can see the good movement that he's had. The 2-0. Fouled back. Old friend Dominic Leone is in the bullpen for the Cleveland Indians.
Saw him earlier playing catch. Saw him during the anthem. Really a likable guy. He's just such a likable guy to have around. Of course, he had injury, just couldn't get it together. I mean, just did not work for him as a Cardinal. Wasn't for lack of effort, so just happy to see him back in a meaningful role on a good team.
And that is pulled foul. Oliver Perez, the lefty, is still flipping sliders for the Cleveland Indians. Oliver Perez was the Game 7 starter for the Mets in 2006 against the Cardinals. In the famous Adam Wainwright game and Yadier Molina game in 06.
It's been a few years.
It's been with 8 different clubs, 18 years in the big leagues. And that is fair off the bag. And DeYoung is thanking 2. And he stops, though, made a wide turn around at first base. Ball gets away, but he'll stay there.
If you're a lefty and can throw strikes and have a little bit of a slider, great job to have.
You got it.
For 20 years. I think of Jesse Orosco.
Sure.
Who was both a Met and a Cardinal and well, he was everything. And there's the ball hit by DeYoung. He tried to get one earlier down the third base line and hits the bag this time.
Here's Goldschmidt, fly to center, walked into third. Average at .329. 3 home runs, driven in 10. Popped up. Oh my, he overran it. Santana overran it.
He overran it after Perez couldn't find it. He was looking for help. He couldn't find it, and you could hear them yelling. Of course, there's no crowd, so you can hear them. Perez just loses it somewhere right about here. Where is it? Help! I got it. Well, maybe not.
Well, if you give a guy like DeYoung a second, or even a guy like Goldschmidt a second life, this is where a major leaguer parks one.
I think fitting to talk about the
Playing with house money right now.
No doubt. I do want to go back to what you said about Oliver Perez. Fitting to say it today. Satchel Paige pitched in a game against the Red Sox in 1965, and he was 59 years old.
59.
59 years old.
Which means he's probably, what, 65? Because no one ever really believed his age anyway.
Good point.
It's incredible. Here's a 2-2. It's a good take. 3-2 the count with 1 out. And you can give Santana, by the way, an error on that play. So both teams have committed an error. And watch out here. Goldschmidt. Hey, you wish you would have caught it. It's a double play.
Worked out better, didn't it?
Yeah. That's baseball for you. 6-4-3. We head to the 6th. T-Mobile, America's largest 5G network. Ticket to the game. Strength of schedule left this season and what has been played. I don't know if you can buy into that after you saw what happened yesterday, right?
Yeah. Well, they're still big leaguers, aren't they? And,
yeah.
You know, the Pirates took care of the Brewers in a 3-game series and took care of the Cardinals twice yesterday. So, as Tony La Russa used to love to say, the other team's on scholarship, too. Max Schrock in to play third. That makes Matt Carpenter the new Cardinal first baseman, and Andrew Kisner behind the plate. Schrock will be batting in Goldie's spot.
And a strike. Ramirez, Lindor, Santana. Ramirez walked and scored. Back in the first, single to right and struck out in the fourth. 8-2 Cleveland here in the top of the sixth. Tommy La Stella has been traded to the A's from the Angels. So we're starting to see some of those deals happen. We'll never see those big deals, but you're going to see, some of the smaller deals.
Well, you have to be creative. It's interesting. John Mozeliak's been asked about deals, and he said, I can't even get my head around that because we're just trying to go through today. And you can understand why the Cardinals would say that after what they went through, and the Marlins would feel the same way. You're just trying to play baseball, for goodness sakes. You're not really thinking about a deal right now, because a deal, think of this, a deal involves intake procedures and flying and moving and change. Family. There's some complications even to that. But I think the teams that make the deals now, it's going to be an obvious thing. We've got 6 starters, but we don't have a left fielder. You have 2 left fielders, and you only have 4 starters. And this is a good thing for both of us. And those kind of obvious deals that really still have to think about and find ways to communicate effectively with guys on the other team. There's no meetings. There's no kind of standard ways to connect that are that simple right now.
Gerard Dyson was traded. We saw him pinch run in the 8th inning of Game 1 of the doubleheader yesterday for Pittsburgh. He goes to the White Sox.
Right. They needed a pinch. They wanted somebody to run late, which is what Dyson did for the Pirates late against the Cardinals.
I think with expanded rosters, it really makes sense to have that 28th man on your roster, and he's the kind of guy that can win a game for you. If you're going to have an extra inning game, he's perfect.
Well, it seems like you and I were talking about this during the offseason, just imagining strategy of pinch hit Billy Hamilton with 2 outs in the inning when nothing's going on, when you think you're going to extra innings, so he can be the last guy out and he can end up at second base to lead off the next inning.
That's right.
And maybe the White Sox do that with Gerard Dyson at some point.
Yep. 1-2 the count on Lindor. Couple of runs scored tonight, a single to right. Cleveland will have to make a decision on Lindor. He's a free agent to be after next year. Let's take it outside, 2-2. He's one of the next really big names that'll be a free agent. And that is ripped into right. Fowler is over. Stays on the base of the wall. And Lindor trotting into second base. It's 12 hits allowed, the most the Cardinals have allowed in a game yet this season.
Pitching has been the strong suit of the Cardinals, but not tonight. That pitch in the middle of the plate at 94, and another ball hit right on the screws. This time it's Lindor. And another extra base hit for Cleveland.
Here's Santana, 2-run homer back in inning number 2.
Just had this thought of this game today and what would have happened had this type of game happened on that first road trip in Chicago, either at Guaranteed Rate Field or Wrigley, where you've got less options, less pitchers, less stretched out guys, and and you just can't get people out. And what do? I mean, I just think if that kind of game would have happened there, it could have been a disaster for the Cardinals.
That's why the Wainwright start was huge. Ricardo Sanchez getting loose for the Redbirds.
We saw a glimpse of it on that particular road trip with the outing of Roel Ramirez, and he would have been out if there were a lot of arms behind him, but he just kept giving up home run after home run. It was just hard to watch that, and you felt for him. But really no other choice. You just have to throw somebody.
And that pitch in the dirt. And the 1-1 with 2 runners on, second and third. Going outside. Cardinals have been out hit 12-4. They trail 8-2, and the Indians trying to tack on more here in the top of the 6th. Two and two the count. And the next to Santana, grounded foul.
Just had another Cardinal name pop into my head, and a good friend, Ted Savage, longtime employee for the Cardinals and was in the front office, community relations. After a big league career, he played with the Cubs, the Cardinals, and some other teams. But he tells the story and told it just very passionately about what it was like to be a player from East St. Louis to go to spring training at the time that he did and not be able to stay at the same hotel as the other players. And it's just really just it's a hard story to listen to, but a story that's worth listening to. And if you ever get a chance to hear Ted's story, he's in the middle. He said that he's writing a book. I haven't seen it yet, but if he writes it, get it. I think we all need to know about that.
Mm-hmm. Ted has been a fixture at fantasy camp for so many years.
You would not believe how the fantasy campers love that story. And love's not the right word. Grateful to hear it. Sobering to hear it, but great to hear it. From somebody that had to live through it.
Pitch count now at 32 for Junior Fernandez. Ricardo Sanchez is hot and ready to go in the bullpen. And we talked about it before, when these guys were coming back initially, it would be around, for some, 20, 25 pitches and a little bit of a wall that they would hit. I think you could say that's probably what's going on here with Junior. Would you agree? So Junior's probably hit that wall.
I think so. I'm trying to look for the actual count in his background, Dan, but I mean, visually he's hit the wall, yes. Whatever the number is, visually he's hit it.
So the Cardinals have issued 6 walks. 2 in this inning by Junior Fernandez. Franmil Reyes, a 3-run homer, and this got it going for Cleveland. It's a walk, a single, a walk, and then a 3-run bomb.
And bomb's the right word.
So they're all loaded up here. Walk, double, another walk. That backs up.
So from experience, I can tell you that Junior Fernandez is in the I hope something good happens stage. I mean, he's got nothing right now. The ball's not coming out of his hand strong. He doesn't have command. And he knows, I mean, there's no place to put the batter. And he knows the Indians are comfortable at the plate. But you got to keep going. You got to will yourself to hope for something good to happen.
2-0. And Reyes has had a big night. Home run back in the first, grounded out sharply to short in the second. Doubled and scored in the 5th down into the left field corner. The 2-0 pitch. The pitch missed in, 3-0.
You're going to have some down times in any big league season, but when it's a 58-game season, it better not last for very long. I think that's the difference. Everybody understands the sense of urgency that kicks in when you look up and you realize it's almost September baseball. Almost.
Three and one. And the next by Junior Fernandez. And it's a base hit into center. 2 runs will score. It's a big night for Franmil Reyes as he drives in 2 more.
Two more RBIs stacked right in the middle of this Indians lineup. Reyes comes through again. Mike Schilt forced to make a move after this base hit the center. 5 RBIs for Reyes. The slow walk to the mound. 10-2 Cleveland. All Indians so far.
What's on tap? It's Jack Flaherty tomorrow. Bud Light Seltzer. Carlos Carrasco, Jack Flaherty tomorrow at noon on Fox Channel 2. We'll be back with you on Sunday on Fox Sports Midwest. Game 2 tomorrow of this series. Ricardo Sanchez is into the ball game, and also some other changes, Ricky, defensively.
Yeah, one of several good Major League debuts. Sanchez in the game here with Bader taking over in center field. That means Carlson moves from center field to right field. So a lot of changes, a lot of guys off their feet here with things just not going the Cardinals' way. Sanchez seems pretty comfortable at the big league level. I'm not sure that's the right word I want to use, but he doesn't seem overwhelmed by anything. Not an overpowering left-hander, has a good breaking ball. And, again, I like what I saw from him. Not a lot of experience at high level for Sanchez, but here he is.
And a breaking pitch taken low and away by Tyler Naquin. Two-run homer back in inning number 5. And that is hit out of play down the left field line.
Hard to imagine that the Indians have had a hard time swinging the bat after what we've seen tonight.
Yeah, it came in as one of the poor teams offensively in the game, but you wouldn't know it watching this. 13 hits, out hit the Cardinals 13-4. And a 10-2 lead here in the 6th inning.
I actually envisioned when the Cardinals came off of 21 days or 17 days of not working out, not playing catch for goodness sakes, throwing balls into their mattresses and pillows in their hotel room and similar things. I envisioned more games like this out of the chute. And I was pleasantly surprised that they were not as rusty as they thought they would be, and they came ready to play and had a really good road trip, I would say, in Chicago. And started out this homestand pretty well against Cincinnati, Kansas City, but it seems like they've hit a bit of a wall here.
And there's a swing and a miss, and the first out. So runners at first and second. Jordan Luplow, who has walked, grounded back to the pitcher, and popped out. Pitch taken high. And fouled back. 1 ball and 1 strike.
I have a vague recollection of another new rule, and I'm not sure that they actually stayed with this rule or not. Perhaps you can help me, Dan, because you are the rule expert.
Yes, sir.
Among other things.
Oh, yeah, right.
Seems to me that the intent was there was going to be some number of a lead that would allow you to use somebody other than a pitcher to pitch.
I think it was a 10 spot. I was thinking that earlier.
Was it a 10-run lead or a 10 on the board? It would have to be a 10-run lead.
It's a 10-run lead, I thought.
I'm just thinking about that is all I'm saying.
Yeah. Foul territory, and the catch made by Carpenter. Runner stay put. Cardinals baseball brought to you by Ford, the official car and truck of the Cardinals, and by the Missouri Lottery. Every ticket you play gives back to schools across Missouri, so play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. I was thinking the same thing because, you know, the Cardinals, with all the games that they have to play in the midst of this crazy schedule that they're in, it would be one of those times you might think about a position player. As much as you don't want to do it with the expanded rosters, but they're in a unique situation.
Is Jose Oquendo still here?
Get him on the roster. Get him. One-day contract.
Wait a minute. Satchel Paige pitched when he was 59.
That's where I'm going.
That's probably what Jose Oquendo is right now.
How are you feeling, by the way?
I'm more than 59.
Satchel may have been too.
Let me see how old Jose Oquendo is. Oh, he's younger than that.
So it's extra innings or if a team is winning or losing by 6 runs. Up the middle, base hit. Charging in Bader. Here comes his throw. Misses the cut. Misses the catcher. Sanchez backing up. And another run will score. So the base hit there by Perez. And he has been on base 4 times tonight. 3 hits and a walk.
And was hitting under 100 coming into this game. You couldn't tell it by what we've seen. And that little bloop hit he got the first time up that off the end of the bat that may have stung him a bit. Probably elevated his confidence anyway.
Yeah.
And he's just been one good at-bat after another.
Now to Shields. And he rips it fair. That'll go off the sidewall. 1 run is in. And DeShields on his way to second base. And he has a 3-hit night. So the bottom of the lineup, 8 and 9 in this lineup, have combined to be on base 7 times to go along with 6 hits. Yikes. Well, one of those nights here at the ballpark for the Cardinals. 12-2.
Well, we talk about that phrase we used earlier, and we use a lot about turning the page. This page will take a little longer to turn. It's a little heavier page.
So they sent 9 to the plate in the first inning, and they're sending 9 to the plate here in the 6th.
No fun to be on the short end, but boy, is it fun to be on the good end of a game like this. Because you're confident, you're just stepping up, swinging, letting it go.
Catch made, Dylan Carlson and right. Midway through 6, all Cleveland in game 1. You can enter the Phillips 66 home run kit sweepstakes for the chance to win exclusive Cardinals merchandise like an autographed item. Visit www.cardinals.com/Phillips66 to enter. And a new pitcher's in, our Chevy called to the pen.
He's been a starter for the Indians, and of course they've got a lot of starters. They've got a lot of good choices, and again with Clevenger back, I think that certainly adds to it. He's been a 13-game winner for them, but you know Carrasco we'll see in this series, and I mean this is just a good staff.
Yes, sir.
And that bodes well when you start thinking about playoff baseball.
Ground ball that is foul. Off the bat of Miller. Followed by Carpenter and then Kisner. Some changes defensively for Cleveland. Yu Chang is at shortstop. And Freeman takes over at second. Three and 1 to count here on Brad Miller.
You get a game like this, it feels like a spring training game, and of course everybody's wearing 42, which is again the honor, but a little complicated to keep track of everybody. But this pitcher, Blecko, speaking of wearing 42, his favorite team when he was a kid was UCLA, a college team, and that's where he ended up going. Majored in history. at UCLA.
He was a Bruin. And a leadoff walk. St. Louis Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Ford and the Missouri Lottery. So the Cardinals have received 4 walks in the game. They have 4 hits. Inside to Matt Carpenter. Fly to left and fly to center.
So if we do see a Cardinal position player pitch in this game, who would that be?
Schrock.
I think that'd be a good choice.
Bring Edman off the bench. He could play third. Schrock goes on the mound. Max Schrock is now on deck circle.
So it looks like they switched the 2 batters. Kisner is actually hitting in the 3rd spot, and Schrock, they both went into the game at the same time. And who knows? Schrock may pitch.
Yep.
I don't see another logical choice, by the way.
And Carpenter lines it. I'm going to call that a catch. It's one of those, no, I didn't mean to, and turn it into a double play, but nope, that's a catch. He's trying not to smile, but it's a catch. And I do think we're going to have a position player pitch in this game.
I think, I want to say you have to. That wasn't even, that was a tricky little drop, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You can fool some of the people some of the time.
That's right.
But you can't fool Ed Hickox, the second base umpire. That's how that saying goes.
That's right. It's always been with Ed Hickox in that statement for many years.
It sure has.
So here is Schrock.
So I must say, and I'm sure folks watching the telecast are maybe feeling the same thing, but I'll just give you my thoughts. Part of me is thinking, wow, this is hard. This is a tough game. And then there's another part of me that says, I'm sitting next to Dan McLaughlin. I'm watching a big league baseball game. Hey. Jackie Robinson Day, and the Cardinals are playing, and they weren't a few weeks ago, and I'm happy about it.
I go back to this, Ricky. For 4.5 months, we were dying for sports.
Yes,
so
exactly.
I'm fine.
Now, I do think, and I said this during the Kansas City Royals series, I felt like the Cardinals had turned a corner from being happy to be playing to be happy to be winning. And I think they felt that, okay, this is different. Matt Carpenter came out right after the 17 days off and said, hey, we're not really even thinking about when. We're just, if we make it to the playoffs, it's a miracle, is what he said at the time. That's what he said on the Zoom call. He said, look, we're just trying to get out there and play, and everything else is gravy, so the pressure's off of us. That's what he said. And maybe the pressure got back on him when they started to win, and maybe pressing a little bit the last couple of days.
Fouled back by Schrock. The 2-2. And he pops it up on the infield. So 2 outs and a runner at first. Cardinals are proud to partner with Wells Fargo Advisors. Thank them for continuing to serve the community through their contributions to Cardinals Care. If the Cardinals are going to get things going, O'Neill needs to get it going. He'd be one of them.
You bet.
So leadoff walk, that was Miller. Left stranded. Head to the 7th, 12-2.
Head to the 7th at Busch Stadium. Get you a couple updates on some Cardinals. And, of course, Matt Wieters has been out with a toe injury. Mike Shildt saying today that he rejoined the team yesterday. He'll get a workout at Busch Stadium tomorrow, and as early as Sunday, he can come off the injured list. Meanwhile, Ryan Helsley, Mike Shildt said earlier today that Helsley will have some live BP for the next couple of days, and then after that, they will reassess how he's doing. Obviously, Danny, a couple of important pieces to the Cardinals roster as they head down to the final month of the regular season.
And we're going to need all of those arms. Every one of them. With the doubleheaders especially. Not just the end of the season, but heading into several doubleheaders.
Two and 1 to count. Sanchez pitching here in the top of the 7th, and Jose Ramirez. And that is a fair ball. Played off the sidewall, and they may have a chance at him. Tag is there, but not in time. Jose Ramirez with a double. Another extra base hit.
And the hits just keep on coming, don't they? He didn't think that was going to be fair, and boy, I'm not sure it was on the replay. Not that I'm advocating complaining about it, because when you look at the score, you just play on. But not reviewable anyway.
Now Yu Chang hitting 143, took over at shortstop, and that'll be a block on.
Oh boy, what
have
we not had in this game? Whew. So the balk for the lefty Sanchez. What did he do? There he is. He starts and then he stops. Can't do that. He knew it. Just a little flinch.
And the 0-1 taken outside.
You know, that's really just pitching 101 there. You just can't stop. If you start to come set and something is confusing you, even if a batter steps out, or even if an umpire calls time, we were always taught, continue through, come set, then step off. Just get in the habit of that.
Yeah.
So you don't flinch.
Jackie Robinson Day across Major League Baseball. So you see the logo that is on the hat.
Yep.
Logo that's on the sleeve. And then you may be wondering about the stirrups and the socks that are being worn as well, the blue socks. And that is also for Jackie Robinson Day, too.
And we've talked about the contributions to the game, obviously, for Jackie, and so fitting that baseball celebrates his legacy every year. But also talking about Larry Doby, the first African-American to play for the Indians and the first American leaguer. But the first African-American to play in St. Louis, you might ask. And I don't mean as a Cardinal, but as a Brown. Was actually the third African-American to play Major League Baseball.
Ground ball. Run will score.
And that was Hank Thompson.
Yep.
And he went on, after playing for the Browns, he went on to play in an outfield that was the first all African-American outfield. Monty Irvin, Hall of Famer. Willie Mays, Hall of Famer. So that was some team with the Giants, and they went on to win the World Series. It was the New York Giants at the time, and he was the very first. And again, 3 months after Jackie Robinson, he was playing in St. Louis for the Browns.
I believe there are items from that game over at the Cardinals Hall of Fame. I also believe that Bill DeWitt Jr. was the bat boy for that game as well.
Oh, is that right? Wow. Hall of Fame is worth visiting. And I should say, for those who've not had a chance to do it, I think it's the appropriate thing to say, with Cardinals having their minor league team in Memphis, their AAA team in Memphis, the Civil Rights Museum, the Lorraine Motel.
Yes.
I mean, they're absolute musts. I've been there several times to both. And I think that that's actually a bonus for the Cardinals to have the ability to teach a little bit about history in Memphis. And I think it's part of your education as a growing baseball player to understand where you've come from.
3-1 to count. 13-2 in favor of the Indians.
I also have a little show and tell for you today.
I'm ready.
Brought something from home. I brought my favorite autographed baseball that I got personally. I'm going to say this was in 85 or 84. So you do the math, 35 years ago.
Well, let's see it.
Well, there it is. James Cool Papa Bell.
Oh, that's the one you were talking about the other day.
Yes, who played for the St. Louis Stars and was annual All-Star in the Negro Leagues. And I had the opportunity of meeting him in the dugout. And he could not have been more gracious. And I was hesitant to ask him for an autograph, but he gave it to me. And, I mean, he was at an older gentleman at the time, and it was hard for him to write, but he did it, and he took him a long time to write his name out for me. But I'm telling you, it just means a lot. I remember that moment like it was yesterday when I got a chance to meet the great Cool Papa Bell. And he's the guy that Satchel Paige would say, you know, when he'd go to turn off the lights,
right,
he'd be in bed before it got dark in the room. It just had that incredible speed, and some people say maybe the fastest player ever in the game of baseball.
That's awesome. Sandy Leon, 13-2. I want to take a moment, recognize some of our season ticket holders of the game tonight. Timothy Brady, Ned and Joanne Lane, Matt Merriman, Mark and Ellen Levine, Julie Katz, Patrick Berry. And thank you for your continued dedication to the St. Louis Cardinals. Pitch count at 34 here. You know, ideally you're thinking, well, we can bring the lefty in, get through this inning, maybe the eighth, and have position player in the ninth. No one is getting loose, by the way, in the Cardinal pen. You may have some transactions coming up after this one.
You almost have to. I mean, that's the ability, and thankful that Major League Baseball saw to it that, you know, some of the rule changes included having this kind of satellite camp and that teams would be able to move back and forth from. And it's not ideal. They're not actually playing games. But they're trying to stay game ready the best they can. A lot of live BPs, situational hitting. But I'm sure there's going to be some phone calls tonight.
So base hit into center. $17 hits tonight for Cleveland.
You know, really begs the question, what's wrong with having a position player pitch too? That's not ideal. What's the lesser of two evils?
Yeah.
I do think we're bound to see it.
I think now you're getting to the point where you're going to be forced to do it to save arms.
Remember Felipe Lopez?
Yeah.
Pitching in extra innings?
Yeah.
Several, I think. 2 or 3, maybe.
Aaron Miles.
Yeah, but when Felipe Lopez did it, he hurt his arm
Yes, he did.
and wasn't able to play for a fairly long period of time.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you do run the risk. You're just hoping, as you know, I mean, I've talked to managers about it. You've done it too. You just tell them, don't get cute, don't get fancy. It's a BP fastball.
And you get on the mound and you channel being 12 years old at Little League and wanting to strike out, and you just can't help it.
No. And we all know the best knuckleballers are the infielders.
Of course they are. That's
Because
right.
they're playing catch every day, messing around with those knuckleballs. Where's Jed Jerko when you need him?
That's right. Seen Daniel Descalzo pitch. I think Greg Garcia pitched.
Greg did it. Aaron Miles. Skip Schumacher did it.
He sure did.
But Skip would throw 91 or 92. He had a cannon.
Right.
And the 1-2 pitch. Need a ground ball here.
I recall pitching a game with the Dodgers where pitched a third of an inning in, say, the 6th or 7th inning, and it was a day game after a night game. So Tommy Lasorda sent all the pitchers that had pitched in the game already, sent us home. So I get back and I find out that the game had gone extra innings, and it's the 15th inning, and our third baseman pitched 3 scoreless innings and had about 5 punch-outs, Jeff Hamilton. And I thought, I think I just lost my job.
You're thinking,
Oh, no.
good job, but, well, not that good. Please.
Right.
And now the bases are loaded. Well, this is where it's getting, it's almost getting to the point where you're uncomfortable if you're Mike Maddox and Mike Schilt.
Yeah.
So in your bullpen right now, remember Gant threw 24 pitches.
Yeah.
Gallego pitched in the doubleheader. You used Junior Fernandez. Oviedo is listed in your pen. He started. Woodford you used. Reyes you used yesterday.
Do you let Tyler Webb pitch an inning?
That's where I'm going. I think he would be a guy that would be. I mean, use Cabrera. I mean, Webb is the guy.
But if you use him, then tomorrow becomes an issue.
He's unavailable tomorrow. I mean, the way I look at this, Ricky, is that it's Webb. I mean, he's the guy.
Yeah.
He's the one guy left. And a position player. You have on your bench, Bader's in the game. Kisner's in the game. Schrock's in the game. You're left with Tommy Edman available. That's it. Two-1. I mean, you're just trying to get him through this inning here and then maybe regroup. Two.
Well, it's almost, in some ways, a nightmare for both Mike Maddox and Mike Schilt, as you said, because it's just what we said at the start of the game. You count up your innings in the bullpen, right? You get to the ballpark. How many do we have? Well, they're past that right now.
Yeah. Indians have twice scored 14 runs, their most against the Cardinals in the season series in '98 and in 2001, and they've got 13 runs tonight. You agree with that? I mean, just looking at how it could play out here.
Yeah.
Webb's the guy.
And he did pitch a third of an inning yesterday.
Correct. There's Bader coming in to make the catch. Throw to the plate, not in time. Run scores to make it 14-2. Cardinals baseball is brought to you by Bud Light Seltzer, unquestionably good. By St. Louis Children's Hospital and Washington University Physicians, Guardians of Childhood. and by Toyota. See where Toyota takes you. Test drive one at your Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. So that makes it a 14-2 lead. Roberto Perez. He's had a big night, on base 4 times, 3 hits and a walk.
And it is Tyler Webb starting to throw in the Cardinals bullpen.
Santana ties his career high with 4 runs. Previous 2 were at Boston and at the Yankees. So 4 runs in the first, 2 in the second, 2 in the 5th, 4 in the 6th, and 2 more in the 7th. 17 hits, 14 runs for Cleveland. Two-one pitch. Milwaukee has posted a victory, 9-1 over Pittsburgh. And Cincinnati defeats the Cubs 6-5. Cubs are starting to come back a little bit.
Yeah, they are.
Two-two. Chop towards third. Tough play. Fair. Nicely done down at third on that shortstop. Time to stretch. 14-2. Jackie Robinson Day around Major League Baseball. Hey, here's a nice play here by Max Schrock.
Really nice play. Gets it on the short hop, just barely fair, off-balance throw. And, boy, when the game is as it is, you need every out you can get. A lot of bad things could have happened there, but Schrock comes up with it to help out his pitcher, his manager, and his pitching coach.
This is the Gateway Honda home run inning. Cardinals hit a home run. $1,000 donated to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri if a Cardinals player hits a home run. Ball and a strike to Harrison Bader. Again, we'll be with you on Sunday on Fox Sports Midwest. Season numbers in 19 games thus far for Bader.
I mentioned that day earlier where I had a chance to meet Cool Papa Bell, the great star of the Negro Leagues, as fast as he was. And I just had a friend and longtime Cardinal fan send me a photo of that day. He was at the ballpark, and it's a photo of Cool Papa Bell. I'm not in it, but it's a photo. I'm not fast enough to be in this photo.
Okay.
Cool Papa Bell, Lou Brock, and Vince Coleman.
That's
what a great
speed.
What a great photo that is from that day, and it was May 17th, 1987.
Awesome.
He was there for an Old Timers Day experience, and grateful to have had the chance to meet him.
My understanding is that when they were going to get him into the Hall of Fame, he was sweeping the floors of City Hall. Cool Papa Bell. They weren't sure where he was. Had you heard that story too?
I have not heard that. I know he worked for the government here in St. Louis, and again, you look at the history of his All-Star games and just how good a player he was. I'm going to say top 5 player from the Negro League.
No doubt. Cool Papa Bell. Popped up off the bat of Carlson and out of play. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Well, it's been a thumping tonight. It happens.
Course of 162, you're going to get these games.
Yep, that's right.
They're just magnified when you have 60. And you can't really afford these.
You can't afford them because, as we've been talking about the pitching, one day affects the next. And I'm not so sure yesterday didn't affect today, as we mentioned. There's a possibility of things just snowballing for a short period of time, and you just have to make sure that's a short period of time and you turn it around fast.
Colton Wong with 2 outs and nobody on.
One of the things you love in a game like this, not going the Cardinals' way. When games like this typically happen, you might see some fans heading towards the exit, but our cardboard cutouts are staying put. They are just toughing it out, aren't they?
They do not head for the exits, and they are very attentive.
They are. Smiles. Look at all the smiles back there. Love it.
1-1. And Wong lifts a high fly ball out to deep right field. That'll stay in the ballpark. And we head to the 8th. 14-2. This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the St. Louis Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. These were some of the shots from over across the street, Ballpark Village, and the Cardinals Hall of Fame.
Tyler Webb, our Chevy call to the bullpen, and always love to chat a little bit about Branch Rickey, too. There's actually a Branch Rickey boardroom across the way, too, which is a terrific view of the ballpark and the memorabilia that's over there. But, again, Ballpark Village and especially the museum over there, you can find some great artifacts about Cardinal history. And you think of Rickey, of course, as a Dodger, but really reared in leading an organization with the St. Louis Cardinals first.
Well, if it's a quick inning, do you go with Webb in the 9th?
I was just thinking that.
If not, then position player.
You mean like 3 pitches?
And he's got the ability. I mean, sometimes he has those boom, boom, boom,
he does.
those quick innings. Yesterday was 1 pitch, 1 out for his 3rd of an inning.
He just needs the Cleveland Indians to do their part.
Curveball and a strike.
I have a audio file of Branch Rickey speaking at a camp in Estes Park, Colorado in the 40s. And he was actually speaking at the very first Fellowship of Christian Athletes meeting ever. He was one of the original founders of that as well as all the other things that he did. And just a gravelly voice and strong guy and an absolute leader in this. But you think about the fact that he had courage, but it's still Jackie Robinson's day because the courage he had is just hard to fathom, really, what that would be like. That hostile a moment in time, and to be the guy to have to face that. But Branch Rickey knew that that's what he'd have to face. Several teammates didn't answer the bell for him, but Pee Wee Reese did. The great scene from several movies, but also the painting that I've seen of Pee Wee Reese putting his arm around Jackie in Cincinnati and letting the people of Cincinnati know that this guy's my teammate, my friend.
That'll be a base hit for Mike Freeman.
Freeman just sticking his bat out, putting it in play. He did not cooperate by making a quick out.
Ball and a strike on Jose Ramirez, 2 for 3, couple of walks and a single. And the 2-1 pitch. Three and one.
Well, if we're looking for some good news, I guess we'd say the fact that Jack Flaherty and Adam Wainwright are set to pitch the next 2 days is good news.
There's a flip and a turn, and they get the lead man. We'll see how far Jack can go tomorrow.
Right.
That'll be the big question, too. Nice range there by DeYoung.
Games like this are actually awkward for everybody, even the team that's got the 14 runs. You're wondering, should I take the extra base?
I thought about that when they tagged up with the bases loaded.
Yeah. Do I not tag up? Do I take an RBI away from my teammate that just had a? I mean, there's all kinds of things, and some of it's unwritten. I think stealing a base is a bad idea with this score. And that would be, every player would agree with that. But there's some kind of muddy areas in between.
Runner at first, they'll play behind him.
It's like the Fernando Tatis Jr. day, where he actually swung at a 3-0 pitch with the bases loaded and started
I had no problem
an
with
issue.
that one.
I had no problem with it either.
The 2-1 out of play, 2-2.
My feeling on that was at the time, and you know, as you know, I'm part of the pitchers union.
Card-carrying member.
You bet.
Many years.
Pay my dues every year.
Yeah.
But bases loaded, you got a 3-0 count on a guy, bases loaded, you're getting hammered by the other team. You want the guy to swing. I mean, you're just hoping for an out somewhere. I mean, you don't want to walk another guy and create more havoc. Now, you don't want him to hit a grand slam, but that's your fault, not his. So I had no problem with Tatis swinging the bat 3-0.
They're running on 3-2 with 2 outs, and it is first and second. Whew. Subway Restaurants proud to feature the Cardinals fan favorite for August, the Sweet Onion Chicken Teriyaki Sub. It's fueling fans around St. Louis all month long. "19 hits, 14 runs. They've out-hit the Cardinals 19-4. Here's Carlos Santana.
If there is a silver lining in this game, I haven't found it yet.
I'm looking and I'm digging.
And as we all know, you and I are as optimistic as anybody that we know.
We are. And we're not finding much tonight.
We're trying, though.
Maybe that position player in the ninth, because we're getting closer now,
Yeah.
because it's pitch number 22. And coming and going with more. Now, this would be one of those unwritten rules that we're talking about. Hold up the runner.
Yeah. Yeah, he certainly could have scored on that, and he was held up by Mike Sarbaugh, a former teammate of mine in the minor leagues with the Indians. He was on the way up, and I was on the way down. But he's saying, that's enough. Stay right there.
What's his conversation right now with Mike Maddox? Just give me one more.
I think he's trying to focus him on forgetting what just happened. That's always what they do. Forget what just happened. Here's what we need you to do. Just stay strong here. Just get through this batter. And again, I think part of it is actually focusing on how are you going to pitch to Sandy Leon? Because here's the deal. You can talk about philosophical things to a pitcher, but what he needs is practical things. And the practical thing is, remember the scouting report on Leon. You don't throw him a curveball here. You don't throw him a fastball there. You get him out this way. And I think that gets him thinking, competing, instead of, oh, my goodness, is this a mess I'm in?
Yeah.
So, honestly, it's just, you have a 4-foot putt. What should you be thinking? About the other 4-foot putt you missed 2 holes ago? No. Or even the magnitude of this putt? No, you want to think about the mechanics of it. What am I doing to make this happen?
The opponent's stadium record for hits at this ballpark is 23. Houston did that in 2007 in an 18-1 win. Indians' 7th team, first American League team to record 20 hits as an opponent at Busch Stadium. Been that kind of night.
So what you're telling me is you still haven't found the silver lining.
Not yet.
I'm going to come up with one. Hang with me. I'm going to find one.
Two.
A lot of hangers today. All right, I got one I'll try out on you.
Sounds like it's going to be a reach, but I'll play along.
Ready?
Yeah.
We get to play again tomorrow.
There you go. And you got some of the regulars off their feet.
there you go. Okay. That's 2 things.
A lot of games here recently, so you got some of the regulars off their feet. There you go. It's a reach, but we did it.
Check.
Missed up and in. Runners off of this pitch. On a hop to short, DeYoung makes the play. Midway through 8, and it's 14-2. You can purchase your Cardinals Care 50/50 raffle ticket now and help Cardinals Care in their mission of caring for kids. Raffle is open every weekend to those located in Missouri and over the age of 18. Visit cardinals.com/50/50 for your chance to win half the jackpot. Nobody's throwing in the Cardinal bullpen. It's a long inning for Tyler Webb. We'll see if he goes back out there for the 9th, and this is Paul DeYoung.
And I have another silver lining. And I know you do too, but I'm going to give you mine first.
Yes.
Dexter Fowler hit a home run
There you go.
on Jackie Robinson Day.
Why didn't we think of that immediately?
Should have. So there's and you have another silver lining.
That Al and Erica are coming up on the postgame show to break down apparently every we're told they want to break down every hit in this game on the postgame.
Wouldn't miss it.
Can't wait. And that's the postgame show coming up next. 1-2 pitch. DeYoung a couple of hits. He's 2 for 3. Missouri Lottery Cardinals Live coming up after the final out.
I will say it'll be very interesting to hear the sound out of the Cardinals Zoom room.
3-hit night for Paul DeYoung. I would imagine it'll be one of those nights where they say, look,
Just forget about
you have these games and turn the page.
Honestly, the best thing to do, and it's sounds so cliche-ish, but honestly, don't overanalyze it.
Exactly.
I mean, everybody can, and of course that's what we do for a living. You know, we kind of give some context to what we see and some analysis and try to explain what's going on. But from a player's point of view, you just have to say, okay, you can analyze it all you want. I'm forgetting about it. I don't really want to talk about it. I mean, not that you're denying that it happened, but why overanalyze every single thing that happened? It's just a negative thought process. So I honestly do think that's what they'll say. I think it'll be short and sweet, but I think it'll be, Mike Schultz very good with those post-game interviews. He's very respectful. He'll respect all the questions, but if the Cardinals don't use a position player, I think it'll be interesting to find out who he might have used, because I'm sure that'll be a question.
Just got a really nice text from the Mad Hungarian, and he said he is looking forward to it.
That's great.
Just a gracious text.
Hi, Dan. Thanks for the props.
Can't wait.
Love you. Can't wait.
Yeah. So thank you, Al. Looking forward to the postgame.
I guess I shouldn't be reading your text out loud on the air. That's probably invasion of privacy. But
Al would want people to,
he's an open book. Yeah.
Yeah. Kind, gracious, happy. He's looking forward to that postgame, and we are too. Cardinals have been out hit 25. Kisner fouls it back.
Whew.
And the 0-2 pitch.
Okay, here's another silver lining for you. How often do we see this? A team has a 20-hit attack one day, and they're basically worn out the next day. And you have that great saying, we should have saved him for the next day.
Oh, yeah.
We've been on the other end of that with the Cardinals, so maybe that'll happen. We're tiring them out tonight.
6-4-3 on the double play. Well, you look at it from the Cardinals' perspective. Cleveland gets Jack Flaherty tomorrow.
Right.
So things could change in a hurry.
Yes, they can. Okay, I'm going to reach for another one.
Well, you're reaching for a lot.
Yeah. There was a point in this game, and I'm going to say it was in the 5th inning, maybe the 6th inning, where you just said uncle. And you brought in the reserves. You got, as you mentioned, some of the regulars off their feet. And what happens psychologically when that happens, or I think just naturally, you've just said, okay, we get it. We lost this game. So you actually can kind of deal with it as the game progresses and get through it more. It's not like the other team walked you off. You have a walk-off loss. You go into the clubhouse. I mean, you're still feeling it. By the time they get into the clubhouse, they'll just be happy to be in the clubhouse. And they will have already dealt with much of what has happened tonight. You buying that one?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Do. Yeah,
I wasn't sure you were maybe thinking I was out of my mind.
No, I think you would know better than I. Fans live and die with the losses, and I get it. That's part of fandom.
Right.
Baseball players find a way to just move on. Because they realize, even though this is a different, unique year, but if you live and die with it as a baseball player to eat you alive, you come back and they're going to be back here tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the morning. Game's at noon.
You don't have time. You don't have time to fret about it. That's exactly right. And if you don't move on, you move out. And as Mike Maddox has said, there's the double in the corner. Just keep swinging. What Mike Maddox has said, and I've just come to just love this phrase, is Major League Baseball players are elite adjusters. And that's not just a physical thing, it's a mental thing.
So the shift here for Carpenter. So look at that. They've got the shift with Miller at second base. They don't care about him. He wants to take third. They say, go right ahead.
I was going to say, nor should they, but that would be a little snarky, maybe.
Yeah. Well, you're up by 12.
Yeah, I'm not sure they're worried about anything right now.
No.
Except perhaps Jack Flaherty. Because they've probably started thinking about him a little bit. Again, it's going to happen soon. It'll be a short night.
Yanked foul down the right field line. Three and two the count on Matt Carpenter.
I got another one.
You're on fire. If people could have just seen me, I had my glasses on and just threw them down on the table. Uncle.
That's why I'm laughing.
Uncle.
Oh, my. This is why they call these games laughers.
You got to laugh from crying.
So it's at 14-2. Here's the silver lining, but this is just for you.
Yeah.
You don't have to hear me say all they need is a bloop and a blast. Way too many bloops and way too many blasts. That was just for you, Dan.
Thank you. You know, it's been a long night when I just looked out on the concourse and I saw Fredburn walking by distraught.
Oh, poor guy. He's such a gamer, too, isn't he?
He is. That's caught in foul territory. And we head to the ninth. Plays of the game, and well, they hit a bunch. They hit them early.
Yeah, and they hit it with guys on base too, so they put this game away very early. And the frustration here at the ballpark had a lot to do with the way the Indians swung the bat. All kinds of hits too, and look who's pitching. Our Chevy called to the bullpen. Danny, just as we thought, Max Schrock will be making his Major League pitching debut.
Yep.
Silver lining number 6.
3-2-8 double play. Hadn't seen that.
There, look at that. See?
Into center, Bader. Schrock gets the first man.
Is it that easy, Max? So he's changing speeds of the first 2 deliveries. He started out with the sinker at 66, and then he came back in with the fastball and got him a little late, 69.
Well, with expanded rosters, I wasn't sure if we'd see a position player throwing a game this year, but here we are. And a ball at 67 miles an hour.
So what you tell the young player, the infielder especially, is, look, just throw a strike. That's it.
Popped up, Kisner. Yeah, he's gotten the first 2. Next episode of Cardinals Insider, the Wizard Ozzie Smith sits down with Dylan Carlson. Lou Brock reflects on Jackie Robinson's legacy, and Cardinal players recall their big league debuts. All coming up. Next episode, Cardinals Insider, Sunday at noon on Fox Sports Midwest. Little slide piece in there, too. Huh?
And a little extra hop to it, 73 miles an hour. He's starting to feel it a little bit. Oh, he called timeout on a position player? Are you kidding me? Oh, another slider. Look at that.
Trying to have a 1-2-3, top of the ninth. Backhanded, deep in the hole. Max Schrock, 1-2-3, top of the ninth.
Now that was fun. That was fun, Danny.
8-pitch inning. Al will break it down coming up on the postgame. How about that? 8 pitches. No big deal. 1-2-3 for Max Schrock. No big deal, Ricky.
Okay, so he can be all smiles, but he has to be careful around pitchers. I mean, it's not the time to walk up to somebody who just had a bad day and say, hey,
let me show you how it's done.
Shouldn't be that tough.
Yeah, really. Not that big a deal, guys.
I mean, see what I did?
Yeah.
69 on the black, just little wrinkle here, a little slider. 1, 2, 3. No traffic.
By the way, StatCast had everything down as a curveball. That's lifted down the left field line, and it is foul.
And he didn't throw one. He threw, it looks like 2 sliders.
It's a gravity ball, I think.
Maybe a changeup, yeah.
Just gravity, man.
9.8 meters per second squared. Yeah, I think that came into play.
No big deal.
But, you use it. You use physics. You use whatever it takes to get out.
That's all you got to do. So the last position player prior to tonight was Jed Jerko. 12-1 loss. He threw a third of an inning. Strikeout of Tyler O'Neill.
I wonder if Max ever pitched in college or somewhere. And now he went to the same college. He went to South Carolina, which is where Tyler Webb went.
Right.
So I wonder if he had ever done that before. Nothing like doing it in the big leagues for the first time.
It's been a season of memories for him, for sure.
Yes.
Big league debut,
Yes.
home run,
Yes.
little pitching. Fastball to Bader.
Dan, as much as the game has gotten away and become a laugher and become one that's just kind of one you want to forget, I think it's important for us, Stephen, to remember, even in the ninth inning of this game, many minutes after the game started, that the importance of this day is the celebration of Jackie Robinson.
No doubt.
And I think that the thought process, the players playing 42 to honor him and commemorate this day, which again normally takes place on the 15th of April. I just love the fact that baseball does this. I think baseball played a part in the 40s and 50s and beyond. Now, I'm not saying a perfect part, clearly not a perfect part, but instrumental by bringing Jackie Robinson into a big league game. And I just think that's, again, a thought that we should leave this game with, despite the score, the outcome. And one reminder that I said earlier, for those that may have missed it, it's also the anniversary of the Martin Luther King Jr. speech, the I Have a Dream speech. I had a dream speech. And I would recommend for those who haven't listened to that in a while to just maybe finish off your night listening to that. Just a suggestion.
3-2 to Bader. And he walked him. Up by 12 and a 3-2 slider. I mean,
What would Tim say?
well, you throw 95. It's the big leagues, man.
I hope Tim's watching. Miss seeing Tim also.
I miss him too.
Talking about all the great Cardinals. I mean, Tim's just so much fun to be around. And if he is listening and or watching and has some insight and commentary, please text it to us, and we'll use it here in the bottom of the ninth.
Oh, I could only imagine. Popped up left side. And there's 2 down.
No, Danny.
No, it'd just be a flat no. They just slam the table. Pens flying everywhere. No. All right. Here's Wong. Lost the helmet, fouled back. Cardinals down to the final 2 strikes. What has been a long night here at the ballpark. Taken high, and it's a ball and a strike. There is some activity in the Cleveland bullpen, just in case.
Well said.
And that's hit out of play. The 2-2 to Coldwong. And a fly ball lifted out to deep left. This should do it. Catch is made. Ball game comes to a close. Cardinals out hit 20-6 and lose 14-2.
They started turning the page in about the 6th inning. This game was put away quickly. The power of the Indians clearly showed up tonight.
14-2 the final. Game 2 is tomorrow. We'll be back with you on Sunday. The post-game show. Looking forward to that. That's coming your way next on Fox Sports Midwest.